What's up, my friends? It is the National Storm Service here, of course, once again, and welcome back to another fresh from the theater reaction. Well, guys, this time, unfortunately, I just got back from seeing GeoStorm, and man, guys, was this movie terrible. It was really terrible, and you know, I didn't do a trailer prediction for this movie, not because I didn't know that it wasn't coming out, but because I just saw it and I knew it was going to be horrible. And to be honest with you, I just didn't have time. I didn't want to waste my time even doing a trailer prediction with it. But you know what? I went to go see it anyway. I had to go to one of my chain cinemas to see this. And you know, I was really bummed out with this movie. I don't like paying higher prices at the cinema for bad movies, and this was just a bad film. You know, it really was. It's one of those films where you can watch the trailer and you know exactly what you're getting into. Like, you literally know exactly what you're getting into. There is nothing going on in this movie. You know, my biggest takeaway with this movie is that it's so boring. It is so boring. I mean, seriously, I have never been more bored at a disaster film. How do you do that? How do you make a boring disaster film? And the thing is, like, the reason it's boring is because there's like one big action sequence in the film where, like, they're destroying things. There's like destruction. It's like a 15 or 20 minute action sequence or something like that. But that's it. There's one sequence, and the rest of the film is just like science stuff, just scientists talking to each other and explaining things, and you know, trying to figure out how they can prevent things and stuff like that, which can be interesting at times. And the disaster sequence was done okay, but it was just strange. The entire movie was just strange because the thing is Gerard Butler, who plays the world's smartest scientist in the movie, and I laugh because it's funny. I laugh because he was completely miscast in the role. He was completely unbelievable. He's just a hollow character. Character development that you just don't care about. Character development that is forced upon you. That's, you know, it's made to feel serious when it's just the entire movie is just this laugh fest. I mean, it's seriously almost hilariously bad. I mean, you know what it felt like? If the production value on this movie was just a little bit lower than it was, you could fit this in on the Sci-Fi Channel. No joke. You could have fit this movie right in on the Sci-Fi Channel if the production value was just a little bit lower. And it's strange because, you know, like, movies like that don't go in the theater. Like, this is a movie that could have easily been on TV, and it was in the theater. It's like, yeah, no wonder it's doing so bad. And apparently this is from, I think it's from the co-writer of Independence Day, and some other movie maker that I can't remember his name right now, that does, you know, a lot of these disaster movies and stuff like that. Again, this is another Michael Bay. This is another Michael Bay, man. You know, they're just following a formula here for disaster movies, except that this one had, like, no effort put into it. I mean, this movie is completely forgettable, completely miscast characters. It has to be one of the worst disaster movies that I think I've ever seen. This might be the worst disaster movie that I've ever seen. Just because there's nothing to hook you in. And I mean, what a change of pace, because you guys know that some of you guys know that I just got out of seeing Blade Runner for a third time. And I actually saw this movie, you know, recently after seeing Blade Runner once again, and what a change of pace. I mean, this movie was terrible. Like, it was absolutely, you know, Blade Runner is a movie that, like, keeps you hooked in all the time. It keeps you wondering what's coming around the next corner, right? What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? This is a movie that is the opposite of that. This is a movie where it's like you are constantly checking your phone to see if this movie is ending, and it's just, there's nothing going on. It's just so uneventful. I think that's the proper word for this movie, is uneventful. And that's what makes it so boring, is that there's nothing going on that you really care about. You're not sure if anything's realistic. You're not sure if anyone's really taking things seriously, if anybody's taking their roles seriously. So it's just kind of like, there. You know what I mean? Like, and you're just watching. It's like a movie that's ready for a plane, like a pre-made movie for a plane almost. I mean, it's on that level. It is just so insignificant. This movie was. So guys, what am I gonna score this thing on a scale from 0% to 100%? Well, guys, I'm gonna have to go with boom, big bomb. Shabam! 15% shabam. Oh, that's a new one. Yeah, I think I'll keep that one. Yeah, 15%, guys. That's what I'm going with for this one. I give it 15% because, like I said, there's like a 20-minute action sequence in the movie that was pretty fairly well done. It was entertaining at times, and some of this, the sequences with like the satellites and like the actual weather control system and some of the jargon with the scientific talk was okay, I guess, but I just can't get it past 15%. I was gonna sit here and just kind of like, for like 10 minutes or so, or like 20 minutes or so, something like that, and just bash this movie, like just give this a complete and total beatdown. But you know what? It's not really worth the time. You guys just want to know, do I recommend that you go out to the theater to see this movie? And normally with disaster movies, even if they're not that good, I do recommend that you go out and see them in like IMAX or something just for the experience. But this one is so boring that I don't even recommend that you guys wait until this comes out on Netflix. Just avoid this movie altogether. Just don't go see it. There's nothing going on in this movie. And that's another thing, is that there are sequences in this movie and parts in this movie that just, they ask you to take it so seriously. And I hate movies that do that. You're making a dumb popcorn flick. Don't try to make people take it seriously. We're not watching an Academy Award-winning film, an Oscar-winning film here. You know what I'm saying? Keep your genres in your genres. And it makes things even more terrible than they have to be. So yeah, guys, avoid this film. It is terrible. I've said enough bad things about it for you guys to get an idea already. So now it's time for you guys to leave all of your thoughts, opinions, and your score, of course, down below in the Great White Void. What did you guys think of this masterpiece? So guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you back here next time for the next Fresh from the Theater reaction. Until next time, Tornado!